What you're looking at is my memorial or wall of honor, if you will, for my grandma Vera Elliott and my mother Vera Laureen Toth. So what I have here are 2 room boxes. One on the right is a replica identical to my grandmother's kitchen in Riverside, California. And the room on the left is her living room. So to give you a little more detail of what was involved here, I'll show you a little closer. Okay, we'll start out with the living room. What you're looking at is a scene that was replicated of my Uncle Mike at Christmas time. So this is the scene, it's replicated. And what you've got there, Uncle Mike and the Doberman Rico, and Otto is the Doberman right there. And on the television screen, I don't know if you can see that, it has a slide of me when I was 1.5 years old and we lived in England, and I'm running down the street. So it's lit up. And then I put in some nice LED lighting, and the lamps, I don't know if you can see, they light up. Then over in the backdrop, kind of hard to see on the camera here, I have the house that is across the street on Google Maps that's been printed and inserted in there so you can look out the window and see the neighbor across the street that lives there. So on the top shelf, you'll notice there's some photo albums, and there's another bookshelf over here with more photo albums. The top right is my grandmother, and the gentleman is my Uncle Robert. And above here, I've got these little picture collages. This photograph right here is an actual close-up where the camera was taking the photograph, and that's the photograph. And here's a picture of my grandmother with Lillian and a couple other friends with that photograph on their couch. My mother had that photograph repainted and rendered in miniature. So that painting was done by an actual artist to replicate that photograph. Then you see these little vases here. Those vases are on the top shelf right there. I'm sure you can see those. Get it down there, okay. There's my Aunt Mary and Uncle Sam's wedding picture right on the right of that. My mother's First Holy Communion picture. And then next to that is my First Holy Communion picture and my Uncle Michael's graduation picture. All these are actual photographs. There's a picture of my grandmother, and right over here is her photograph as well. Yeah, it's her. My mother had a doll maker make a doll to replicate my grandmother. And there she is, right behind that woman there. That's actually a very good replica of her stature. And then backing up to the photographs again. This one here is my grandmother with my cousin Michael on the right, my cousin Terry next to him. She's holding, I think, my cousin Margie on her lap. Cindy's in front of her, and I'm on the far left. And that was at Christmas time. We were all in our jammies, gonna open gifts soon. Quite exciting. So again, back to the room. They have the plaque here, Moms by Bill and Laureen. And just the actual detail is pretty stunning. That heat register I was speaking of is down on the floor, right there in the corner. And it'd pump out the heat, so I'd get my sleeping bag and lay right about where the coffee table is, move it out of the way and be near the heat when I'd be spending the night when we go visit Grandma. Next we have her kitchen. Now, my dad built all this and put in all the wiring, and everything works. So you'll notice the lights, the china cabinet, the refrigerator behind it, and the stove, it lights. And it has a actual laundry room right next door, which was how our house was set up. We'd come off the driveway in from that side door right there, and then we would walk through the laundry room into the kitchen. And that was the way it was. So here's the pictures that replicate that. Right here, you see that wallpaper there? Oh, let me start with the light fixture. This light fixture right here is the light fixture right here. And the wallpaper right here was really hard to find and replicate. So they had to find something close, but then they had to go to a Xerox machine and shrink it down to get the right size to get it just what they wanted there. In any case, so this is what I really love. This is my father. He's standing in my grandma's kitchen looking at the table, and behind him is a rooster on the wall above the stove. So just to show you where he was standing, you see the rooster by the stove? He was standing like right behind where that woman is serving a pie. Anyway, then we have the mom and her siblings all having a fun time at Grandma's house. She's sitting there and they're pigging out at the holidays, and they like to goof off just like the Toth kids do, for sure. I think we all got it from them. That's Uncle Pat and Grandma. There's Grandma and Uncle Michael's ex-wife, and then Mom, Laureen, and Edie, Uncle Mike's girlfriend. And my dad again with the rooster. So in this picture, it was kind of a sad day. My grandmother had passed away, and the family had all met at Grandma's house, and they were at the kitchen table going through photo albums. And I'm actually sitting in the bedroom right there, going through pictures and memorabilia from my grandmother. And I actually found the telegraph that my father sent my grandma, and it was in her closet in her memory box. That felt so wonderful to see, and what an experience. All of us had good experiences here at this house. I'm sure all my cousins did as well. I hope they get to see this and have the same memories and feeling about it as we do. Again, take a look out the window in the kitchen. You can see out across to the neighbor's house. Really cool how they've done some of the work here. Yeah. So I have a book here. If you ever come, you'll be getting a chance to go through that. And just one more little drop in the memory box here below. I've got 2 pictures of Mom, Vera Lorraine, when she was a baby, and then a picture of a silk painting from a portrait that my dad had done for my mom in Japan. I hope you enjoyed this video and the memorabilia boxes for Grandma Elliott's home.